23, 2009, the whole world was shocked when a group of journalists, civilians, lawyers, and relatives of public officers and even public officers themselves were brutally massacred in broad daylight in Maguindanao. Members of the international community has branded this incident as the most horrendous in the last, it is the most horrendous crime committed in the last 10 years. Shortly after the incident, an information was filed before the Department of Justice alleging, among other things, that Andala Patuan Sr., Andala Patuan Jr., and Zaldian Patuan were the masterminds in this crime, in the name of power. As stated in the information, successive meetings were conducted to plot the brutal killings. Where was this meeting held? It was allegedly held in the mansion of the Ampatuans. The information further alleges that the Ampatuans ordered their own private armies to facilitate all the killings. So, what was the defense of Zali Ampatuan? He claims that he was not present during the commission of the crime. In fact, he was suggesting that he was in the Malacanang with no other than the former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. In effect, he is raising the defense of alibi. And by inference, he is not present during the crime, and at the same time, it is physically impossible for him to be there. As embodied in the provisions of RA 6981, the presence and personal knowledge are important. However, this kind of knowledge is not just any simple knowledge, but one of a personal one. And by personal, we mean that knowledge which is derived from our own perceptions. The witness must have actually personally heard and seen the crime. However, in this case, when Zalia Patuan expressed his desire to be a state witness, he claimed that it was only relayed to him that only Andala Patuan Jr. and Andala Patuan Sr. was there. This kind of testimony is tantamount to hearsay evidence and not of personal knowledge. Now we review the rules on the discharge of witnesses. Under Section 17, Rule 119 of the Rules of Court. This section provides that when two or more persons who are jointly charged with the commission of any offense upon motion or prosecution before resting the case, the court may direct one or more of the accused with their consent so that they may be witnesses of the state when, after requiring the presentation evidence and the submission of the sworn statements at the hearing in the discharge in support of the discharge. Under the same rule, for an accused to be considered a state witness, there must be no direct evidence available for the prosecution of the defense committed. As it now stands, there are two witnesses under the custody of the Department of Justice whose testimonies can prove that all of the accused, especially Zalia Patuan, had a hand in the commission of the crime. Further, paragraph D under the same rule provides that a state witness should not appear the most guilty. However, what was alleged in the information was that the participation of Zaldi is one that partakes of the nature of a principal. It was alleged that he was present during the meetings conducted, and that he was also one of those who personally fired at the victims in the massacre. Without judging on the merits of the case, because I admit that this is not to determine whether Zalia Patuan is guilty or not. It is fundamentally important for us to evaluate the information on its face in order to assess whether Section 17, Rule 190 of the Rules of Court apply. Why? because the discharge must happen prior to the evidence, prior to the presentation of evidence in the trial proper. It would appear that Zaldiang Patuan was the commander of the commission of the crime, he being a powerful political figure. Therefore, there's no legal basis that would allow Zaldi to be a state witness. It is common knowledge that this case is of a peculiar character. Why? Because the nature of the crime was incredibly horrible that it shocked not only the nation but also the rest of the world. After touching on the legal aspect, I will now discuss the social ramifications of a possible decision favoring the request of Zaldiang Patuan. The role of the Department of Justice is to prosecute those who should be prosecuted, irregardless of their state, either status, their race, or their political affiliation. The Filipino people have grown cynical about the integrity of the Philippine justice system. Because historically, if you are in a position of power, you can get away with any legal infractions scot-free. The Philippine justice system has been marred by a lot of controversy, and now is the time for the Philippine justice system to go by the rules and not by power. And it is about time that they go by the truth and not by influence. And lastly, that they break the culture of impunity in the realm of public office. With that said, I am Yuchongtian, and I am proud to oppose that Zaldiang